Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt. This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Peter Fury.
Yes, KUGAN, good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right, yeah.
Yeah, just let's jump straight into it. Were you surprised with Joe Joyce's win last night over Daniel Dubois?
No. I said it'd be a 50-50 fight. And leading, early rounds and going into the fight, it was a 50-50 fight. But for me, it was too early, too big of a test for Dubois. And the reason I say that, and I said in past interviews with this as well, he hasn't fought anybody. And what I mean by that's not a bad thing, because he's learning. Bearing in mind, he is a young heavyweight. But like I said, it was a massive leap. And, they've totally read the script wrong with Joe Joyce, because he looks ungainly, he looks slow. They've all read the script wrong, because I know Joe Joyce very well. We sparred him with Huey from team rounds. He's tough as teak. And that jab, finds a home. He's very good with that jab. And he's a puncher as well. And the thing is, Joe Joyce is on a world level. Look at opponents he's beat. Stavern. He's gone to 10 rounds with B.Y. Jennings. Jennings ain't no mug. Jennings on a world level operator. He's been hit back. He's been in hard fights. So it was no problem. It was no problem for Joe Joyce, where Dubois hadn't been tested at all like that. So it was all a brand new experience. So for me, it was definitely too soon, way too soon for him. He just read the script wrong with Joe Joyce.
Peter, we know Joe Joyce has got a great jab. Did you think it would be as effective to basically win him the whole fight with that jab?
Well, it was getting home, and the rounds was close, and it was like, again, how you pick them. But for me, Joe was landing them jabs frequently, so I had Joe winning the fight. I got to be honest, because that jab was just landing and landing and landing. So he didn't need to do anything else. But it was quite clear and obvious to me, looking at that fight, that I think the round before, Joe started to open up, started to release the right hand, and I think he threw a hook to the body. And I think Dubois realised that the artillery was going to come very quickly, and it was on its way. So I think he just he needed to get out of there, to be honest. But look, that's not powder coat anything. He did quit in that fight. Listen, because it was just too much for him. It's not a problem. He can come again. He's young, but it was too much. Again, it's that inexperience. When you're in the deep end, what do you do? So, like I said, that's all you can say about it. But believe me, he's fighting a spiteful puncher. Super big heavyweight. Joe Joyce can fight. Whoever says he can't don't know boxing. So, like I said, it was a tall order. Yeah, but he done well. And he'll only, if he can take stock, he'll improve from that, because he's young and he'll just come back from it. But there's no shame in losing to Joe Joyce, because Joe Joyce, one, he can hit, and secondly, I think he was going to get stopped in any event.
There's obviously a vast age difference between the two of them. Like you said, Daniel Dubois is 21, 22 years old, can learn from it, come again. Joe Joyce...
Well, I keep getting quoted because I said he was 21 because somebody said he was 21, but he's actually 23, isn't he?
I thought he was 22. So he's between 21 and 23. Let's just
exactly. Let's just say worse ways he's 23. He's still a baby in the heavyweight division.
He's still absolutely a baby. But this fight was more of a risk for Joe Joyce, given Joe's age going into this fight as well. It would have been obviously more difficult for Joe to have come back from it. It was a gamble that both fighters took. Fair play to both fighters for taking this fight as well. It hasn't obviously paid off for Daniel Dubois, but it has for Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce now, is he ready? Say ready. You're talking about all them opponents that he's been in with, like these Jenningses and Staverns, etc. But is he ready now for like a Alexander Usyk? Because it's a funny kind of gap now, isn't it, to where you put Joe Joyce after that win last night?
I mean, Joe Joyce is ready. He doesn't need learning fights. He's an established heavyweight, and he is in his prime. Joe Joyce is not an old heavyweight. He's in his prime. This is where he needs to do it. Yeah, but he hasn't got much time. But he's at the pinnacle of his career. He's at his maximum strength. You know, this guy is ready to go. And when you look at it, just like that, you know, with Dubois again, you know, there's a gulf of difference there on every level. You know, with age, maturity, level of opponents. And like I said, on paper, it was a shutout win for Joyce, but you can't write off somebody like Dubois' punching power. And he did get quite a few of them shots off. You know, it was just that Joe Joyce, with his experience again and the maturity of him, was able to take them shots and ride them. And he, like I said, anybody can wallop a dummy. You know, they can all punch when you sit there. You know, but when you step up in levels, yeah, that power gets negated. You ain't going to get it off. And this is what we found here. And when he couldn't get the power shots off, he just got demoralized more and more, got worn down, and he didn't know what to do. He had no plan B. The only plan B he had was to get out of there. When it started getting hot in the kitchen, he had to get out. So this is, again, it's a sign of his age, his immaturity, and everything else. But like I said, he'll come back and he'll do good from it. But like I said before, Dubois can afford the loss. Joe Joyce couldn't afford the loss. You know, so it's definitely crossroads for him. It was make or break, where Dubois brush himself off and he'd just come again.
Peter, one of the judges had Dubois up. I know it was said it was 8 rounds last night. It was actually 5 rounds, I believe, that one of the judges had Dubois up by. I mean, what did you make of that?
Let me tell you something. A lot of these fucking judges, yeah, they know more about fucking boxing than making that fight. Let me tell you something, yeah. They got it fucking totally wrong. Joyce was winning that fight. Simple. Landing that jab all the time. So I don't know what fight they was watching there. He wasn't winning it by a streak, but he was ahead. He was ahead in that fight.
Well, like I said, it was a fight that we were all kind of intrigued by. A lot of people did say that if it went past the halfway stage, they would tend to favour Joe Joyce. But again, a lot of people did believe that Daniel Dubois would get Joe Joyce out of them, you know, before those 6 rounds. So,
well, you know, as it was going on, you know, and in early rounds, I thought to myself, you know, he's starting to get in range, Dubois, you know, and it was a big question mark. Can Joe Joyce withstand it? But not only did he withstand it, he was able to move and ride the shots as well, showing his experience. And that's what was a telling factor. So at no stage was he able to hurt Joyce. And that's the reality of it. Yeah. But like I said, it's all about stepping up in that level and bridging the gap. And it was just a step too far, too much experience, a step too far, too early. But has it done him any harm? No. Now he knows what he's got to do. He'll be a lot better fighter after this going forward. Because like I said to you, there's no need to have padded records. He's done himself no harm. He just run out of ideas. And rather than get seriously injured in there, he took an exit, which that's his prerogative. He'll come back and do better next time.
I see a few people kind of not writing Daniel Dubois off there, but kind of this is always the case when someone loses. It's almost that, I told you, see, this, etc. But that isn't the case with Daniel Dubois. He's a young heavyweight who, like I said, let's say he's 23 years old. This ain't like the end of the road for him. He'll build.
Oh, listen, it's just the beginning. You know, he's going to get. He'll come on from it. You know, he'll learn from it, and you know he's got to realize. You know, these young fighters, they get all kinds in the mind. You know, they want to have this macho image. They want to do this. They want to do that. Because fighters, they got to do whatever's necessary to get whatever they're going to get there. But like I said, he's just got to bite down on the bullet, come back. And you know another thing, fighting with your head totally still. You know, he's got a lot of learning to do, that kid, because look, you know, them jabs was getting home ridiculous. You know, there was no slipping and sliding the jab. So like I said, just by doing that in future will improve his game massively. Because we all know if somebody's ramming a jab in your face and they're landing it round after round after round, it's on the road to disaster, isn't it? Sooner or later, you're going to have a problem. And that's what happened there. So just a simple slipping and sliding the shots, he'll be a different fighter. But I think with Dubois, all he had on his mind was trying to get them big shots off. So it's not because he's not been learned how to slip the jab. He was looking for the big shots all the time. And again, it's inexperience where he should have just let his punches flow. But against that opposition, you know, how can you say? It's like swimming in the shallow end of a swimming pool and getting dropped in the sea, isn't it? And a gale force 8. Yeah. You know, he's never been in a storm before. So when you're in a storm and you're not used to it, what are you going to do? Learning, KUGAN, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. All right, well, Peter, we'll see you in a couple of weeks or so. Obviously, your son Huey's fighting on the 12th of December against Marius Wack on the Joshua card, so you'll no doubt be back in the bubble.
Yeah, we'll be back in the bubble, and sorry about this, KUGAN. These messages keep coming through.
Right.
But like I said, it's going to be good. Looking forward to it. And but anything can happen in heavyweight boxing. That's what makes it so interesting.
Indeed. Okay, Peter Fury, thank you very much for your time this Sunday morning. I'll let you get on with the rest of your day, and no doubt we'll catch up during that Joshua Pulev fight week.
Yeah, but congratulations to both men, and well done to Joe Joyce as well. You know, it was really, it was a good. I thoroughly enjoyed it anyway. I was on the edge of my seat watching it, so it was a good fight. So it was still nobody any harm. Everybody's a winner.
Okay, Peter Fury, thank you very much, and we'll definitely catch up soon.
Speak to you soon, KUGAN.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.